Everyone. Hope everyone's having a good night. What I want to talk about in this video is setting up a community benchmark for Lumion. Now, when you first open up Lumion, you get that it says you need a better GPU, here's your system memory. And that is good for someone that just got Lumion for the first time and they're trying to find out if the computer is good enough. But the purpose of this benchmark is going to be so that you can see other people in the community and just get an idea of what their times were with certain graphics cards and certain configurations. I think that if someone is, having trouble rendering maybe on like a 970 or something like that, and they're just not getting the render times they want, it'd be really helpful to actually see someone with maybe like a 2080 and being able to go, okay, well, if I get this card and I can fit that into my budget, that's going to reduce my render times down to like 25% or something like that. And I think that will just sort of help artists not only grow, but also something that we can do as a community. So basically I'm going to outline sort of what I think we should do. Now I've went and just picked out 3 clips. They're kind of arbitrary. But the first clip is just this fly through here. I kind of like this one. I used the Villa Cabrera for a lot of examples. Now, I don't think it actually matters what FPS you use. If renders does take you a long time, you can just do 25 because Lumion scales, I guess, like linearly with how many frames you use. Like if you use 30 frames, it's just going to take you twice as long to render 60 frames. So I think that it's safe using 25 frames in this situation. If it doesn't take you that long to render, it'd be really cool if you could share 1 to 5 stars. But I think if you don't have a lot of time to play around with, even just doing 3 stars and 5 stars, I think that's enough for us kind of to focus on. Since those are the ones for final renders that I tend to use the most, I will be releasing a video momentarily, basically right after this one goes up, where I just kind of talk about how I at least use the different stars in Lumion, and where you might be able to save a little bit of time when it comes to rendering. So I'm thinking of putting in this clip here. So it's the final clip in Villa Cabrera, and I'll put more details about this in not only in the video below, but also onto the Lumion forum, and just how we should kind of post it. I'll then go through and basically do like a pass mark. Like I think Lumion does kind of look at that, because I know that they've recommended you have a certain pass mark score on your GPU above like 16,000 or something. So I can take that. We can also just find other benchmarks that are kind of like the universal, I guess, benchmarks for things like RAM, CPUs, that sort of thing. And I just really want to see that as different components get changed out, how much does that suffer, or how much does that make your Lumion render time suffer? I'm just going to quickly show the other clips that I wanted. So just to say it one last time, the first clip I'd like people to do is this, the final clip in Villa Cabrera. So if you go to this clip and you can do 3 stars, 25 FPS. I guess the best quality I guess we should use is 1920 by 1080. I think that if we can kind of standardize that, I think that's a reasonable trade-off between render times and So 3 or 5 stars would be great, but if someone wants to be a keener and do all of the stars, then that'd be really great too. So I'll just go and hop into another example here. I was also thinking of doing the beach house, and once this loads, I'll show you. It would just be the first clip for this one. I think this one does have skylight, and while that can be a little bit heavier for people to render, I would encourage you to keep it on. I think it's best if we don't change any of the settings at all. So obviously we get the most consistent set of data. And so we will go to the movie. It'll just be this one here. So that's about 10 seconds. I tried to make sure all the clips are 10 seconds. I think the majority of them are for Lumion, or at least for the examples. So that kind of worked in our favor. And then we'll also do the Villa Van Manen, I think it's how you pronounce it. And it'll just be the first clip from that one as well. We can always go back and kind of add in more examples, but I think to have 3 to start, that'd be really good, because what I will try and do is I'll actually sit down, and then once I get enough data, then I'll actually kind of break down the Villa Van Manen, Villa Cabrera, and see not only how many points they have, but also how many trees, certain objects, and see if there's some way that we can kind of make at least a bit of like a formula or a way to calculate how much or how fast your renders are going to be, so that if you are thinking of upgrading, you have a pretty good idea of how fast your new renders are going to go. If you have a new 3080 or 3090 card, I would really, really appreciate it if you took part in this, because I'm very curious to see how those do on the Lumion 10 versions, and also when Lumion 11 comes out. That'll be really exciting too. So it'll just be this clip, and this one's only 8 seconds and, or sorry, 8 minutes and 8 seconds and 80 milliseconds. That messed me up for a minute. So yeah, now one last thing I will say, if you are going to render something out, just make sure that at the end you get the time, because I know that I've done this a few times where I'll render something to time it, and then as soon as it's done, I just click done, and then I realize I didn't look at what the time was. The time is very important for this. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. As I said, this isn't a very long video. I just kind of want to get that out there. I think that if we can get even like 5 people to do this, then that's enough for me to kind of start just getting the information together and looking it up. I'll probably just make like a little Excel sheet with just a few formulas to kind of speed things up. And then as new data comes in, I'll just kind of dump it in to the list, and it'll sort it out. And then maybe there's some way that we can get that updated Excel sheet either on the Lumion website or something like that, just so it's more accessible to people. So yeah, if you are interested in participating in this, I would really appreciate it if you could follow the instructions below the video, or if you think that you know enough just from watching the video, then that'll be good to go, and we can we can try and just sort of figure out what the best bang for your buck computer is, and I think that'll help a lot of people get renders even faster in Lumion. So have a good night, guys, and I will see you very soon in the next one.